Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my live stream. It's good to be back. It's been a while since I've been live, and I am coming live with my client and my friend, Madhura Yoshi. And I'm going to introduce her like the powerhouse badass that she is, because this is what this live stream is about. The title of this live stream is How Madhura Overcame Her Fear of Being Authentic, of the thing that was sitting inside of her. And because of that, she was able to launch and step into her true calling for a business. So Madhura is the number one pussy power performance coach for female entrepreneurs. She helps women entrepreneurs create the business of their dreams by unleashing their inner goddess superpower. And I am excited to bring her on today. It is my honor and my pleasure to introduce you once again to the real Madhura, the number one pussy power performance coach. That just sounds so good, Madhura. Actually.
Thank you, Linda. Had you talked to me about this probably 6 months ago, I'd have been like, hell no, she ain't coming out. She's not coming out. That is not what I am going to ever introduce myself as. However, I have truly stepped into that identity and I feel great about it. I feel great about it.
Literally. I'm like, hold on, Madhura, this book is literally sitting on my desk, and it's not because I was going to interview you.
Oh yeah, that book has changed my life. It's changed my life.
Pussy, a reclamation. Listen, y'all, just because I'm not woo and taking photo shoots in the lake with flowers around my head and crystals, I'm into this. I rock with this because this is true.
It is. It is. It totally is. It's one of those things that as women, I don't care if you're in business or not, every woman needs to tap back into that power of the pussy, because that is something that will change your life.
So, Madhura, I'm going to say this because this interview is off the cuff and it's going live on LinkedIn. So for all the LinkedIn corporate people that are watching in your office, turn this shit down, because we're about to say pussy, 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 pussy. I am reminded, I don't know if this is before your time, Madhura, or if you've had the time to watch this movie, Boomerang.
Yep.
Boomerang with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And so we know Grace Jones. You know, she was the face behind Strange, the perfume. And she was at the restaurant and she said to Eddie Murphy, "What? You don't like pussy?" You know, because he wasn't coming on to her.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Lower your voice." And she's like, "What? Pussy. Pussy, 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 pussy." You know, when I knew that I was going to interview you, I knew I was going to talk about that particular scene in the movie Boomerang, because pussy has forever been a taboo subject, and it is the thing that has caused every war.
Yep.
It is the thing that men have fought for, killed for, and died for. It is the most powerful thing. I'm going to say this, Madhura, and then we're just going to talk. This past weekend, I watched the Chris Rock special on Netflix.
Great one. Yep.
Okay. And he was like, people want to say that men have all the power and men do not. He goes, "I have paid more student loans off than Joe Biden. I was rolling." He was like, "I have paid for bunion surgery. I have fixed more roofs, because he said every dime that he's ever made, he has spent it on pussy."
Yep.
And he was like, "And if I had to do it all over again, I would spend it on pussy all over again." And so it's funny, but not funny. It's interesting. It's ironic that we're not saying, like pussy, vulgar, vagina, like it's our femininity. So I want to take our listeners and our viewers back to the very beginning, because you and I met in 2020, and I know how to tell my side of the story, but tell everyone how we met and bring us up to speed.
Yeah, absolutely. So we met in 2020. We were in a different mastermind. I think it was like in the middle of the pandemic. it was like, okay, I want to take my business to the next level. My husband had lost his job and my business was kind of trickling. I had 2 kids at this time. My youngest was just over a year, maybe not even, yeah, just over a year and a half when me and you met, Linda. And we were in this mastermind and I remember seeing you and your energy and I was like, I will work with this woman. I will. I don't know how, I don't know when, but I wanted, because your story was so inspiring. And I'm like, okay. So I was always seeing your big wins and like I think you'd made 50K at that point that month. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so I said, okay, I'm going to work with her. And then we started chatting and you were helping coach me and sending me ways on, okay, hey, you can do it this way. And just helping as a genuinely authentic, amazing woman that you are, as you always do. And so 2020, that December, we finally were like, okay, you're going to do this. Let's do this. Let's roll. And it was it was the mastermind that you were launching.
It was the Rich
Coach Mastermind. And I was like, yep, let's do this. And then life decided to gut punch me and put me in the hospital for emergency gallbladder surgery. And right after I came out of that, and then I had a sale just before the end of the year. And it was because we had been talking and I was like, okay, I have these people that I'm talking to. And I had that client sign up on the call and I just come home. I was recovering from surgery, come home. I had a 20-minute call, signed him up, and it was go. And yeah, and then we rolled from there. I was in 2 of your masterminds and it was kind of the courage container that you kept, because I was going through so many different things in my life, whereas my health, I was recovering from gallbladder surgery. My husband had a chronic disease and he had lost his job and our marriage was on the rocks. And so I was dealing with all of that. 2 young kids that were in school and they were dealing with COVID and all of the things. So they were sick all the time. There are germs everywhere. So every other week it would be one kid homesick, one time or the other. And so building my business was not the aftermath, but it wasn't at the forefront because family life was priority as a mom, as you know, and being a mom. And my kids are young now, they're 7 and 4, but 3 years ago they were much younger. So it was a constant up leveling and limiting beliefs kicking my ass going, can you do this? Are you sure? And I navigated. I think when I was in that mastermind with you, I was dealing with helping high performance dads and high achieving men. And that was my niche.
At one point you were like the men whisperer,
Mhm.
the man whisperer.
Yep.
2.0. I mean, like you've changed your marketing message a few times.
Yeah. And so I started there and then the trajectory led me down. And then I was the game changer for lawyers and working in that niche because I've had a lot of success working with lawyers. And it wasn't till this last year.
It was November. It was like the end of November, beginning of December.
Yeah. And that's when, 2022. Yeah. 2022, spoke at an event and realized that my calling was to help female entrepreneurs really tap into the power of the pussy and really lean into that feminine energy and the femininity that we all have, but we've forgotten because we've been told to be a good girl. Our desires don't matter. We're not worthy. All of the things that we hear. And that just rocket launched me forward and has provided me with so many new opportunities that I think we had talked about since 2021, that this is what was calling. And I was just like, no, I'm going to step back. And even during that time, changed my look, did a really badass photo shoot and all of these different things where I chopped my hair. I had purple in my hair, still have it somewhere. It's fading and doing it back up. But all of the things that allowed me to really, truly step into who I am today.
Yes. So. Madhura, thank you for sharing your side of the story. So I'm not going to retell that story, but I'm going to point out key things. So when I met Madhura, she was working with men. And then for the people that are watching that are in sales, that are an entrepreneur, I wasn't helping Madhura over Messenger because I was manipulating her. I was helping Madhura because I was truly laying the foundation, the bricks of trust and relationship. Because I wrote a post yesterday. You need to go read it, everybody. High ticket sales are relationship based. Okay. So I do not mind. Everybody wants to know how to convert someone in Messenger right away. It took 6 months for Madhura to convert, but Madhura really converted 6 months ago. It just, she needed to put things in place. She was still paying off another mastermind, right? So there's a lot of people in this internet space who are toxic, manipulative salespeople.
Yeah.
I never made Madhura feel like, oh, you're just saying that. Oh, you da 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 da. Even when Madhura started working with me and her children, it just seemed like her children were sick every month. Any toxic coach out there would have been tempted to say, or may have said, you're using your kids as an excuse, Madhura. But I never said that because I am a mom. And I've always said this, and I will continue to say it till the day I die. My number one achievement is raising children that didn't go to prison like my mom's kids, is raising a daughter who didn't get pregnant at 16 like I did. It is not building a badass business.
Yep.
That's not my biggest accomplishment in life. Right? You know, like when my kids sit around the table at Thanksgiving, they're not like, oh, mom's business rocks. No, they're like talking about all the crazy shit. Remember when mom did that? Remember that time that mom almost beat somebody up at the football game? Do you like, because it matters to me what my children say about me when I'm no longer here.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a woman. I've been a single mom. It's one of the things I always told you, Madhura, I'm still a single mom.
Yep.
It's the reason why I lead the way that I lead, with a woman's heart first. Jamila, who you know,
Yep.
she was telling me she couldn't come, or she didn't want to come to my event in January because she's still breastfeeding her kid. I could have said, how old is your kid? You're crazy. Stop that mess. You need to go ahead and disconnect from your child. I would never say that to a mom.
No.
I said, you come to the next event when you're ready, because it's going to take a lot more than just freezing breast milk to walk away from the baby that you're still breastfeeding.
Yep.
Right? So that woman, that pussy power, that feminine, I know that I've always dealt with in it. And during the time that we were working together throughout the years, when you discovered that book, and we started talking about the power of the pussy, and you started tapping into it, and you started using it in your life, in your personal relationships, in your interpersonal things, even you started kind of like playing around with some of your clients who you felt comfortable.
Yep.
Right. And so many ups and downs, because your husband's chronic illness was the type of illness that would take him to his grave. It's not just like a chronic illness that you can live with. No, you can live with it until it takes you out. So at the end of last year, we had gotten your brand. You had postcards, you had QR scan codes, you had a stand-up banner. Like, I don't want people to, and I don't want even you to take for granted or skim over the preparation that you took your business to, with the photo shoot, with the leather dress, with the purple hair, with the, cutting it off so short, with the just boldness.
Yeah.
Because we cannot overlook the fact that you're Indian. And we know that us women, brown women of different cultures, we have ridiculous religious and cultural expectations from our parents.
Yep.
So you stepping into your full authentic self meant that you're going to get pushback from your mom and dad. You're going to get pushback from all the family.
Yep.
And everything else, because you're not the only woman that I work with that is in this position where she is the only person in her family doing what she does. Yeah. She is the groundbreaker. She is the trailblazer. She is the bold one. She's the rebellious one. She is that, because they never say, oh, she's so bold and courageous. No, she's rebellious and always doing things like that. And that's so wrong. We didn't teach her that. We don't know where she got that from. You did teach me that. God literally used you, Mom, to give birth to me. Yeah. Like, you're such a badass mom. I tell my mom all the time, do you realize that you gave birth to a generational cycle breaker, to like the baddest bitch on earth? You gave birth to her, Mom. Like, God used you to do that. And so my mom laughs, but it's true.
Yeah.
So I'm catching people up. So then in December, at the very beginning of December, you go to this event. And at the event, you decide that once you're on that stage, they can't take the microphone for you. So you literally, it's not like you told the people, oh, I'm going to boldly speak about this topic. You said, I'm going to talk about empowering women, but we were not trying to mention the power of the pussy.
No.
But you did. And
Mhm.
because you did, there were other speakers on that stage who were also promoting their business and whatever. But at the end of that event, the line at the back of the room at your table was lined up with women trying to get more of you.
Yep.
And you were like, oh my God, Linda. And we celebrated it. And literally 2 weeks later, because
It was a month. So yeah, so that happened. I think it was October. So end of October
okay.
was the event. November he went into the hospital for a week, and then came back out. Saw him for Christmas. And at this point, we were not living together. We had separated at this point, but
Mhm.
still saw the kids every day. He got access to them, all that. And end of December, last time I physically saw him was Christmas Day, and then January 4th he passed.
And it was wild because in December you said to me, Linda, my ex is being so stubborn. Like we've got to get the end of life, paperwork in place, and he's being, stubborn. I understood because I'm a 50-year-old woman. Oh man, end of life paperwork. The end must be near. And Madhura being the responsible mom and woman who's going to be left behind taking care of these kids, she's trying to put everything in place.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, reach out to me whenever you need. And when you reached out to me at the beginning of January, I was literally having breakfast with my daughter at my favorite first watch breakfast place. And I said, I've got to go in my car and I've got to call Madhura. And I called you.
Yeah.
And you were like, Linda, my husband just passed, because you guys were separated, but you were still legally married. So he was your husband.
Yep. Yep.
And I asked, how are you doing? What's going on? Who's coming over?
Yep.
And I was like, whoa, even though you paid until the end of the year, I said, hey, get back with me when you need. Right? And so it wasn't any more about, oh, she's my client, she has to pay me, I have to do this. No. It was about, Madhura, how are you?
Yeah.
And it was a lot. I mean, that was January. It is now April.
Yeah.
And you just had like your first own live event, and there's so many wonderful opportunities lined up. But let's catch us up to now, because my mom hasn't passed, but I went to Florida last month thinking that it was the last time that I would see her. And I've been in like crisis mode since then, because there's a lot of uncertainty around her health. And I know what that has already done for me in the way that I view my life and my health and my business. And I understood I'm not serving my own clients in the most way that I can, because my clients are women who also deal with health issues. Even though I'm not a doctor, we're going to keep women accountable about taking care of their health, because without you, there's no kids to there's no you to take care of the kids. There's no you to grow a business. So you've been very quiet about your husband's death, and we're not trying to make this about the husband's death or reopen any wounds or anything like that. But can you please share what you feel comfortable sharing when you experienced that? What did it do for you as far as putting up any mirrors for you, where you are in business, where you were not being authentic, and how you wanted to live?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was quiet because I think there's still so much processing, and that will take time. And as time goes and time heals, that will continue. That will continue to show up in how I show up online and my messaging. But the passing woke me up to so many things. One, my health was the biggest thing, and how I put everybody else before my health. I put his health before my health. I put my children's health before my health. I put everybody and their dog before my health. And I said enough is enough. And so I hired a personal trainer. I got back in the gym. I'm feeling better. I'm stronger than I've been in years. My body looks better. My skin is better. All of the things. Not that I've ever had really bad skin in the last little while, but I'm more confident. I'm feeling more empowered because I know my babies only have me now. Literally, there is no father figure there for them anymore. And without me, there's nobody. And I can't be the best version of myself to serve my clients if I'm not walking the walk. If I'm not doing the work, I can't expect my clients to be like, oh, yeah, Madhura, let's do this. And I'm going to follow this. And I had clients throughout this process because I actually signed a client at the end of December and then had to start her 2 weeks after the funeral because I'm like, he just passed. I have people in my house right now. Can we please move it? And there was actually a little bit of guilt because I'm like, I just signed a client. This woman is going to think I'm nuts because I have to move this. But I said, hey, look, like shit has literally just hit the fan. There's so much going on. Can we move it? And we did. And even her on her health journey has shifted because she started to work out more and she started to take care of her health. And she had a baby a year ago. And so it was a mirror. And I did not ever want my children to have to go through this again. Because having them see their father in a box and saying goodbye to him and asking questions, I don't ever want them to do that at a young age. Obviously, death is a part of life, but having to explain to a 7-year-old, this is what cremation is, probably the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life and will ever have to do. But it showed me the strength I had. And it showed them that no matter what happens, I'm there.
I love that. Obviously, not that you went through that, but what you said, I like to say it showed you that you can do hard things and you've been doing hard things.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, you can do hard.
Yeah.
We don't like it.
No.
And without it, we don't grow.
100%.
Right. So it put this mirror for you and you're like, I hate to use this cliche phrase, like rising like a phoenix. Like now you're like this rebirth because death has a way of having something new birth.
100%.
New thoughts, new ideas. So you go through this, you hire the trainer, you're still going through it because you've been very quiet about, his death and all that stuff with, and totally justified because you don't have to use social media as a diary. Yeah. And here you are, and you reached out to me over the weekend and I literally cried. Oh. Yeah. Because of the words that you said. So what did you say, or what part of it would you like to share?
I think I was really moved because for the first time I did a live or I'd done a reel or something talking about the power of the pussy. And I put it on social media and it was this aha moment because it had been something within me for so long, since 2021. So we're in 2023. So this is a 2-year process that has been bubbling up within me to actually come out and speak those words on social media in a way that I didn't feel like, oh my God, people are going to judge me. I have family on social media. What are people going to say? And I actually had blocked all of that out and said, no, this is the calling. I'm changing the dialogue and the perception around how women show up so that they can live that life and be authentic and allow themselves to move forward. So for me, it was thanking you for holding that container for me to, as I step through all of these different levels in my personal life and business, to actually finally have the courage to come out and be like, this is what it is, the power of the pussy, and not be afraid of people judging me and going, oh my God, she's so vulgar. And what's the correlation between that and business and where is it? Because we don't talk about it and it's so taboo, but it shouldn't be. It's not, it's where we birth children. Like getting more women to talk about it because it is a conversation that has to be had.
It's the portal for pleasure and desire. It's the portal for life. It's the portal. And actually, it's such a correlation between being able to tell your lover, your husband, your partner, no, move a little bit to the right, no, to the left is better, and literally asking for what you want in the intimate moment of sexual pleasure and desire and orgasm and climax. If you don't know how to ask the person that you're totally naked, like really naked, not like metaphorically naked, if you don't know how to ask the person that you're naked with for what you want, then how do you ask? How do you lead in the boardroom? How do you ask for a raise? Like, talk more about the real power of the pussy. It's not vulgar.
No.
It's just that it is confronting because people have tabooed it throughout the eternity, throughout time and on this earth.
Yeah.
Men
Well,
have quieted down our, because we do have the power.
of course we do.
So talk about that because you're the expert.
We have the power, and it's not even just men, it's how our mothers and our grandmothers and all that have always told us. I remember having a conversation before I got married with my grandmother. She, beautiful woman, love her to pieces, may her soul rest in peace. But I remember her telling me, don't rock the boat, don't argue with your husband, don't. So you're constantly inundated as a woman from even a young age. Sit down, be quiet, be a good girl, don't say anything.
Madhura, in Spanish, all Hispanic women, it doesn't matter what country they're from, if they speak Spanish, they've heard this phrase, calladita te ves más bonita, which means quiet, you look prettier.
Yeah.
It's ingrained in us from a little girl, but it literally comes from men.
Yeah.
And our moms and our grandma, they've bought into this, you know, be a good girl. But every song, as far back as music can date, talks about being a good girl in the streets and a freak in the sheets. What?
Because there is a huge correlation. If you cannot ask what you want at home, and that's one thing I realized. I didn't ask for what I wanted at home, not even just in the bedroom, but just at home for, hey, do you mind doing the dishes? It was always, hey, it would be nice if the dishes were done, or the trash being taken out, or all of the things. And I never asked because I was too scared. Because if I asked, oh, sense of rejection. And we're so scared of hearing no. We're so scared of hearing no.
And not just that, for me, it's like, well, that's not what good Hispanic women, like Hispanic women, they take care of their men. You know, so you're not supposed to ask your man to do these house chores or to help out with whatever, you know, like there's all this cultural.
Yeah.
Do you need to open the door?
Yeah. She gonna go away, or she gonna she was sitting upstairs, and I love my dogs, and usually they're here, but I forgot she wasn't in the room. So
yeah.
But now she's sitting at my feet.
There's all these cultural expectations, and they're like silent because they're woven into our upbringing, which is another reason why if I have the option to choose who I'm going to work with, it's always going to be a brown person of color, because man, we get it.
Yeah.
We get it. So there was a lot of sharpening for the people who are watching, who are coaches. We sharpen our edge with our clients. Like, our clients make us better. I'm a better coach because I coached Madhura. Madhura is a better Madhura because she received coaching, and we both sharpened each other. We had plenty of conversations that were not about business, and they were about the power of the pussy, and they were about interpersonal relationships. She's been talking about this since 2021. So I am so excited, so proud of you fully stepping into this, because it's that polarizing. It's that fear of being fearless, like fearlessly authentic, which I was preaching, and I've been preaching all this time. When you step into that thing that you're scared to say, to do, that's your calling. How does it feel? Because you just did your very first live event. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I spoke at an event at a teacher's Montessori teacher conference. Not my ideal clients. However, I know, I was like, I'm going to shock this room like there's no other, because the first question I asked them, I said, how many of you, and there was 150 women in this room. There's a few men, but there was 150 women. And I asked the room, how many of you have ever asked for what you want in the bedroom? And this was a lunch hour.
At the Montessori.
at the Montessori. And I was like, you know what? These are conversations. And I had women after saying, thank you so much for having this speaking, because they were thinking about their desires. And some women even said, I don't know what I want. And I'm 50 years old. I had an East Indian woman come up to me and said, that was so hard because I don't know what I want. I have never been taught to dream or ask myself those questions. And that is the issue. As women, we don't know how to ask because we don't sit with ourselves and say, okay, what do I truly desire? And it starts with, and that's why I asked that question, do you have the guts to ask for what you want in the bedroom? Because you are at your most vulnerable. And if you can't ask there, you cannot ask your kids what you need them to do, because you just get frustrated. You're not going to be able to ask for a raise. You won't be able to ask for the money that you're worth for your clients. You won't be able to ask for anything because you are and it's self-love, because you aren't able to receive because you're scared of rejection. And
Come
so it's
on.
this vicious cycle.
I love it because just by mere biology, okay, let's just take it all the way down to the science book. Women receive during the sexual act. We receive from the man enters the woman, right? We were created to receive.
Yep.
And so we somehow in womanhood, after we have children or we get a career, we are about giving to others, giving to the career, giving to the kids, giving to the church, giving to my mom, giving to everything. And if you ask almost any woman who has not done the work in the personal development space for herself, she'll tell you, I'm a mom. That's not who you are. That's something that you do as a woman. I'm a wife. That's not who you are. That's something that you do as a woman. Oh, no. After you give to the kids, after you give to your husband, after you give to your career, after you give to the church, after you get how much of a person is left there, and who is she? Because women, without being without having like a this is who I am, it's not who you are, it's how you serve. It's like if a woman is not serving, she's not a woman. When the whole thing is what you said, we were made to receive. And that's why I know the power of the pussy is so confronting, because it's the place through where we receive. And if we don't know how to receive, then we don't know how to ask. It just makes so much sense when you put it that way. It's like, would you rather me call it the little poo poo, the little poop? I don't know. It's still the same thing. The puss puss. I don't know.
Kitty cat, like it's me. And the funny thing is, and I think me and you've talked about this before, because you hear guys telling other guys, don't be a pussy. I'm sorry, I pushed out a child. If you kick a guy in the nuts, he drops. Shouldn't it be like, don't be a nut or something along the lines?
Because the pussy is strong.
Strong. Strong. We create, and that receiving, when we receive in the act of sex and we receive, we create children. We create. It is our sacral energy. We create from there. And that is how we give. When we receive, we create a home if you're given a house. When you get sperm, you create a child. It is all of the things when you receive. And that's also self-love, because if you receive, you're loving yourself, but we've forgotten to receive. We don't know how. We don't know how. And I was privy to that. I had forgotten what it was like to receive because I had shut that part off so far gone that I'm like,
well, because
giving.
so many women are listening to male teachers who are telling you, like men tell each other, don't cry, that's weak. Don't ask for anything, that's weak. That's men. That's what y'all think. That's not true for us. And actually, I'm not going to go into this, but like a man that can't give you anything is not excited about you.
No.
If men put their money where what they value, and if you're trying to like, no, I don't need anything, I don't want anything, no, then he's like, oh, I can't really conquer her. She has everything. Let me go on to somebody that receives and is excited about receiving from me.
And that feminine, we are supposed to be submissive. And this is totally taboo, because submissive isn't being a doormat. It's not.
Oh, no.
It's allowing someone else to lead. We are not meant to lead. Women, this is the first time ever women have so many hats. And there's more and more men talking about this, going, women are tired. So, in order for a man to really bring value to the table, they need to lead. And women need to sit back and receive. And when we receive, we submit. And it's in the Bible too. It's in the Bible where they talk about submitting to your husband as long as the husband loves the wife. But
Girl, they don't want to hear that. They're not ready for that.
I know. That is the crazy part. But we have to submit to our desires. If we submit and have faith in our desires, we're receiving, and then we can ask for that.
I love that. Tell me about any particular client, one of your most recent clients who, through the power of pussy, like shifted her life and her business. Tell me.
Yeah, so there's actually the last couple. One is my super long-term client. We've been working together for 3 years. She actually just came to my live event, and she could not say the word pussy, period. Like, I tried pulling it out of her. I remember me and you were talking about it, and you're like, okay, let's see. And she finally stepped into it. And I remember she said it, and I almost dropped. I think I was drinking water or something. I literally almost dropped it. I was like, what did you just say? Because I had been trying to get her out of that religious shit show that was going on in her head and the religious belief system that women are only there for a man's pleasure. I said, you need to say it so that you can receive, and you can start to receive money, because there is a correlation with how much money you make and how much you're willing to receive sexually, so to speak, because women who have a high and very thriving sex life make a lot of money. Because
okay, hold up, stop right there. I'm putting out applications right now. Okay. Yes, I can do this with some things, personal things in my drawer. But I would also like a partner that I can practice receiving.
It's so true, because women have now taken upon themselves this whole feminine movement of, I can buy myself flowers, that whole Miley Cyrus song. Yes, we can. Do we want to? No. I want someone else to freaking buy me shit. But it's all about that receiving. And when we do that, our businesses start to show up differently. We're more confident. And so she shifted. She finally, we had been talking about it for a while. Her marriage was not where she wanted to be, and she wasn't receiving what she needed. She wasn't feeling heard. She wasn't feeling, and she was the breadwinner in the relationship. And it was not a man who could lead her to her next level. It wasn't. And so she finally had the courage to say, okay, enough's enough. I'm walking. They had just bought a house together, and so they sold it and did all of that. But she took her health into consideration. She started really taking care of her health and taking care of her business, and her business started to thrive, because now she was stepping into that goddess that she was, because she unleashed that inner goddess by learning to listen and ask, what do you desire? What is it truly that's boiling within you? And now she's trying to figure out, okay, what do I want from here? And actually speaking that into existence. And the more that she did that propelled her. And the most recent client, her communication with her partner has like changed night and day. And she went back to work because she's doing a side hustle with her business, but she needed to build her business on the side while earning money. But her health is better. Her communication with her stepdaughter is better. Her communication with her partner, she feels better. She's just so much more confident. So all of that is because she tapped into the power of the pussy and learning to listen to that intuition, that intuition that is within each and every one of us. Every woman has it. We've just shut her down. And so she's like, screw you. If you don't want to listen to me, I'm not going to keep talking.
So let me mention this, because it's true for you. It's almost like you were perpetuating like a form of self-sabotage on your sales calls.
Yep.
I was like, I told you to close the sale on the call. Why did you get the money? And it was almost like you were scared. It's not almost. You were scared to ask for the commitment on the call. because that's what it was. And so then stepping into your own power,
Yeah.
in your own inner goddess. Tell us the price points that you close your sales at right now.
So I've had $20,000 sales. I've had, yeah. So when I first started 7 years ago now, almost 7 years ago, I was at 3,500 for 3 months. Then it went to $10,000 for 6 months.
For 6 months.
And then it went for $12,000 for 3 months.
Yeah, because I was like, 6 months for 10K. I'm about to throw up. No.
And then it went to 20K for 6 months.
So these are the price points that we set in place all last year. And even though you set them, you yourself would sabotage receiving that amount. And now it's like, no, I close sales.
Yeah.
I send the invoice. We get started.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who are like, well, I don't do this or that, I do this type of bit. It doesn't matter what service you sell. If it's transformational, if it transforms people's health, body, relationships, money, as long as it's transformative, you can charge a higher rate, but you're not gonna be able to charge if you don't know how to receive, if you're not confident in the transformation that you bring your clients, all of that. Now, here's something that's really interesting, Madhura. We're gonna close out. Before we got on this call, before we went live, you said, go check out my Instagram and go look at my title. Go look at how I have edited my bio. And I read it and it said that you're the #1 pussy power performance coach for entrepreneurial women. And the #1 performance coach for entrepreneurs. And I said, I tell the people what I said.
I love that. I love it because that has been within you for so long.
Yes. Now, I am a high performance coach.
Yep.
What I did not say was, why did you call yourself a high performance coach?
Yes.
Because there's so much abundance. The odds of me meeting any of the women that Madhura works with are slim to none. There are women that need Madhura with Madhura's flavor, with Madhura's way, with the pussy power. Okay. And even if Madhura did the exact same thing that I did and didn't put pussy power into there, I still would have been like, I love that for you, because you need a coach. If you're a relationship coach, go get you a relationship coach that's doing better than you.
Yeah.
Go get you someone. Like if you're a sales coach, if you're a business coach, get you a business coach that you want to emulate. If you ever have a coach that's like, what do you do? Oh, we do the same thing. Get out of scarcity. So one of the things that I live by is not being in scarcity. I want to teach my clients how to do exactly what I do. I can't possibly be the only person. I'm 50 years old. We need 30-year-old high performance coach. We need 80-year-old high performance coach. So how would you say that working with your high performance coach worked for you? If you had to sum it up in 2 to 3 sentences, what was the thing?
I think the biggest thing was one, mindset, and that shifting in the identity shift that you always talk about. But even more than that is the courage. Having the courage to truly be myself without worrying about what everybody else is going to say. And it's taken 2 years. It's taken 2 years and life happening and all of the different things, and realizing that at the end of the day, because we cremate, it's a box. You end up in a box. So while you're on this planet, creating that impact, creating an impact that allows for you to know that at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, people have moved forward because of their interaction with you. And that's really the gist of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of having that person show you, saying, hey, and having someone believe in you when you can't see it yet because of your limiting beliefs and just holding you back, and you having someone in your corner, because a lot of people don't understand what you do, especially in the coaching industry, because I still don't think my parents know what the heck I do. And so
People
they don't
who work
understand.
with me are like, Linda, I still don't know how to explain what you do. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change your fucking life though. Just say Linda will change your fucking life. That's a good way.
That's it. And I that's pretty much it. It's your life is going to look totally different, completely different. I don't care if it's a 3-month program, a 6-month program, a year program. By the time you are done working with a high performance coach, your life will be on its head. It'll be flipped on its head, and you will look back going, what the fuck? How is this? How is this my life now? Having intimate events that I think we've talked about for so long came to reality. And I realized I wanted 25 women. And then I'm like, no, because I had 7 women, including myself. And it was so intimate in the conversations. And the women just were like, some were in tears because we were discussing how to ask for what you desire. Where are you holding yourself back? Who is that goddess? And it brought so much joy and pride for me to say I'm actually able to now create this for my clients. And knowing, okay, 6 to 8 women is all I want for those sessions, and
Very
allowing them to
intimate.
grow from there.
Very intimate. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong for the people that are listening. There's a lot of things that was just said here. Number one, if you're in the transformation space, get your ego out of the way when your client doesn't get the result in 90 days. Your client is going to get the result. Sometimes it needs to simmer in people's being because they haven't done the identity shift required to step into her, but they will. Right? So that's number one. Because Madhura and I have been working together since 2020, and she's just not going, ah! But that doesn't mean that for those times, all of those months and those years that she wasn't moving forward. Madhura had her first 6-figure years working with me and her second 6-figure year. So, like, I used to tell her, Madhura, please give yourself so much credit. Literally, you have a 6-figure business while you're raising little kids. You are prioritizing what's important because there are seasons of a woman's life. I'm an empty nester. So I don't expect my clients that are raising kids to be doing what I'm doing unless they have another support system in place, right? So, Madhura, it's so amazing. I'm so honored to be part of this journey with you. I know that you have some speaking gigs coming. You've landed some more opportunities. Are you going to be posting, like, they're local, obviously, and are you going to be posting ways that people can get tickets or that people can
Yeah,
go?
absolutely. There's going to be on my social media, and then yeah, there's a lot of different opportunities, but I'm going to be hosting more of my more intimate exclusive events because it's such a small group. I'm going to be hosting probably twice a month for the foreseeable future because I think it was such a powerful experience for the women, and I'm excited to continue to offer it for women and see where things go from here because the
I'm
sky's the limit.
super, super proud of you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, everyone can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, pretty much every social media except for maybe Twitter because I'm really not on there, but at The Real Madhura.
I love it. Madhura, both you and I are high performance coaches. What would you say to someone who's sitting on the fence about working with a high performance coach?
Stop, just stop and just do it because the thing is we can't do this alone. Anybody who's successful cannot do it alone. And if they've said they've done it alone, they're smoking something.
They're full of it.
They're full of crap. You cannot do this alone. And because if you try to do it alone, you're going to quit. It is not for the faint of heart. Being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. And you need that support. You need that support. You need someone to help guide you and that give you a swift kick in the ass when you are in your own way. So don't give yourself permission to fail because that is what you're doing if you are on the fence and you know deep down in your gut that you need that support and you're not doing it, you're failing yourself.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. I love it. With that, we will close. Everyone, if you are looking to book a call, if Madhura is the person that resonated with you during this interview, reach out to her. She is Madhura Yoshi on, I don't know, I always screw up your names. I don't know if it's Yoshi,
Joshi.
Joshi.
I
Okay,
know the Spanish in you's coming out, Linda.
word. It's like, oh, sorry, I'm Puerto Rican. So Madhura Joshi. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her at therealmadura.com. You can go find her on Instagram. And if you're like, no, Linda, you're the person for me, you know where to find me. Just hit me up on Inside a Messenger on any platform. DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, and we get the conversation started. Madhura, so proud of you. So many blessings I'm praying over your life for the rest of this year and what's to come. Thank you for taking the time today and being with us live.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.